In this video, I'm gonna tell you something about how you can upgrade your skills without even trying. So let's get started. Before we get started, I would like to make a request to you guys. So if you are interested in software development and programming languages and computer science education, maybe you should try subscribing to my channel because I produce weekly vlogs and technical tutorials about programming language and soft skills for developer and new tech trends, right? So it will really boost my enthusiasm and it will really propel me to produce more such stuff regarding software development. So make sure you subscribe to this channel and give this video a thumbs up. And I know that I was requesting too much of you guys but seriously, I need it for my confidence. I need to be fired up 24/7, and that is why I think that it is my duty to ask my audience to at least subscribe to this channel and give this video a thumbs up. So let's get started with our topic. So as a creative developer or designer, we are always on a lookout of new learning sources which we can actually learn great content from and go out and try new stuff so that we can be at the top of our game, right? And to do that, we need some kind of sources of input of new knowledge so that we can assimilate all of those knowledge and try it out in our fields. So we have books for it, we have internet for it, we have YouTube for it. There are so many mediums, but a most important medium which I think that is missing from any developers or designers list is this thing known as podcast. Now podcasts are the treasure trove of information regarding any subject you can think of, be it entrepreneurship or designing or development or anything. But when I talk to people and developers especially, they are just innocent about all of this podcast scenario. They don't even know what podcast means. So with this video blog, I wanted to take your attention towards what podcasting is. Now, I was thinking about doing a vlog about podcast and all, and today I really got inspired while I was listening to how I built this podcast, and where the host of the series talked about maybe you should go out and educate more people about what podcasts are and how they can actually leverage the treasure trove podcasts are offering. So this is a video regarding that, and I will tell you each and every single thing about podcasting and how you can actually use that stuff for your advantage. So let's get started. Additionally, the Anchor has started this whole new movement known as #TryPodcast. Maybe you can go out and discover a whole new series of interesting podcasts which can get you excited about this whole podcasting thing, and maybe you can download some of these recordings or episodes on your phone and listen to them. If you are a human being who is at least 20-year-old, you must be having some kind of idea about radios, right? Even radios are a mainstream channel for disseminating information in today's age as well. So radios are the channels where persons sitting at the other end broadcast information to you. So podcasts are much like that, but they are just audio sources. So it is kind of a radio session recorded by someone, and this recording has been put online to some websites and aggregators like iTunes, etc. And then you can go out and download these MP3 or some audio recordings and just put them on your phone or computer, and maybe you can listen to them. So why would you actually do that? So that is a question, right? You have video podcast and blog posts, right? So you must be wondering, why should I just go out and listen to some audio recordings of person talking about design and development? See, the thing is that when you are listening to any kind of music while working or coding or designing, right, your olfactory senses are free and you as a human can multitask. So why not devote those olfactory senses to gain some more knowledge about your subject and field, right? So if you are listening to whatever Shape of Grey or something from Ed Sheeran, it is going to give you some kind of pleasure. But if instead of that, if you are going to learn something about React Native, if you are working as a React professional using this podcast, so I think that will be more beneficial towards your career and your career aspirations, right? So that was the only issue I wanted to talk about, because especially in India, I don't think that many developers are aware of this podcasting thing, and I haven't seen anyone using or actively downloading any podcast or listening to them, because I have learned so many things from the podcast. I routinely or religiously follow some people on podcasts. To name a few, it is Gary Vaynerchuk, who is an entrepreneur and he is totally crushing it. The second one is John Sonmez. So he talks about computer programming and software skills for software developers. He is a great guy, and maybe you should go out and try to search his video on YouTube. The third podcast I'm listening to is Entrepreneur on Fire, where this guy talks about entrepreneurship and he interviews other entrepreneurs so that you can learn many things about entrepreneurship while listening passively to whatever he's put on his channel using podcast instead of listening to some songs. I am not against listening to some songs and getting entertained, but seriously, if you really want it, you have to put or devote your time towards it. And there are a couple of other hardcore technical podcasts I am following. To name one of them is a Software Engineering Daily. It's a great podcast run by some ex-Amazon employee, and he really goes deep into the subject like Apache Kafka and engineering at Stripe and software infrastructure at several other top-notch IT companies. And I think that is all about the podcasting thing I wanted to talk about, and I will just hope that you go out on your own and try to explore the world of podcast, and you will find various podcasts which will be beneficial for your career.